And welcome to the show. I am excited to be here. Happy Tuesday to y'all. Boy, what a day. What a day. Crazy stuff happening all over. We see just chaos everywhere. And there's, really interesting news. So, Mitch McConnell, who is reportedly brain dead, is also reportedly having conversations with people. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but Mitch McConnell went MIA after a reported heart attack. According to the rumors, McConnell had a heart attack. They found him basically dead, had to do CPR, all these things. And there's been all sorts of rumors. I think it's Laura Loomer said that he's actually brain dead. The guy's actually literally gone. But without missing a beat, of course, the Republicans have came out and said, oh, no, we've talked to our buddy Mitch McConnell. Everybody's saying that they've talked to him in the hospital and he's doing great. Now, no one has provided any confirmation at all, and it's a little peculiar. Because, in a guy McConnell's age, who, to be honest, I'll be ecstatic to see him out of the Senate. I don't wish ill on anybody. I don't wish any sickness on anybody, but whatever takes him out of the Senate will make me very happy. I just hope it's not a painful, horrible thing for him. That said, McConnell, if he is dead or permanently incapacitated, that would trigger a special election. Well, the Republicans don't want that. So they're now dinking around, fooling around with all sorts of different things, and trying to make excuses, and it's insane. I thought it was funny though, because today when you see, and let me show you guys this. Here you go. You see headline: top GOP leaders, including John Thune, they've all spoken with McConnell, and they all say he's doing wonderful and receiving excellent care. You just trust them, because who wouldn't trust John Thune, right? He's just a good guy. It's not that he's ever lied or anything about it. Pretty much every time he opens his mouth. So anyways, Thomas Massey posted today, and I thought this was great. This was obviously a joke. He says, I spoke to McConnell for about 20 minutes this morning. He said we should end the war with Iran, quit giving aid to Israel, stop spying on Americans without a warrant. And he's really sorry about how my primary turned out. I thought that was hilarious. And, of course, it was a spoof. And now there's been, just all sorts of people, playing off of that and doing spoofs on X. I said, I'm sure 9,000-year-old China Mitch is doing great. Everyone knows his staff has been running the show for years, and he spends his time filling his depends. I did some poop emojis because it made me happy. And I thought that Massey's post was funny. But, the whole thing is a bit ridiculous to me, folks. This guy should have been out of the Senate years ago. He's not geriatric. This guy's a dead man walking. He's been this way for a long time. And all he's done for the last 5-10 years is just sell us out in every opportunity. He screwed Trump over in 2020. He screwed us over during COVID. The guy is just a piece of garbage. And it will be a great, great day for America when that guy is no longer involved with the U.S. Senate. Again, I don't wish anybody sickness or ill, but I do wish, for America's sake, that this human piece of excrement is removed from the Senate as quickly as humanly possible, because we, the people, deserve a little bit better than that turd. Anyway, so I got all that going. Guess what? I'm excited because my good friend John Richardson is back. He's been in hiding for a little bit. We'll talk to him about that. But he is back, and he is joining us tonight, and he is going to. Yeah, John does such a good job on the show. I love when John's on. Of course, we love RNC Store. But the thing is John does so much media that he's just a great guy to have on. We can chat through the show and talk about all the issues, which there's a lot of them. I want to get into these flock cameras. I'm so flocking mad about them. They're just awful. They're just awful. It's ridiculous. We're going to hit the flock cameras. I want to talk about the SAVE Act and this whole NDAA Israel thing, right? As you all know, I support the Israeli people. I'm fine. You're Jewish, that's great. If you're Israeli, it's great. I don't care. But Benjamin Netanyahu's a turd. I don't like their government. Their government's crooked as hell. Netanyahu's bad, and yet we're looking to sell our military secrets and share our intel with them, which actually ties in with the flock cameras. It may be surprising to y'all, but it does, because what you've got to understand is the tie that binds these two things together is this. The flock cameras are all about this digital prison and eliminating your privacy. Well, the NDAA and the data and the information and the intel sharing that we're doing Well, that's kind of to do some of the same things. One of the most important things that a lot of people don't realize is that the agreements would allow for the Israeli spy agency, the Mossad, to spy on Americans and then share the data with the CIA. See, the CIA is not allowed to spy on Americans. So this will just allow the CIA to outsource spying on Americans. And they can do it legally. It's just another way to circumvent the rules. Our government seems to spend more time trying to find ways to circumvent our Constitution than any other group of people on the planet. One would think that the government that was created and exists only because of our Constitution would have some modicum of respect for it, but clearly they don't. And that's all died. So we'll get into all that. And if I got time, I'm really going to go further into how this whole thing has worked, because what's going on right now, I want to share with you guys. You really need to help people to understand. You can be tracked and traced everywhere right now. If I really wanted to, and if I was willing to pay for the data to do it and the analysis to do it, I could track where you drove yesterday, who you were with. I could figure out what time you did things. There is no anonymity if someone really wants to dig into it. The data is already there. What's happening now is Palantir and some of these other groups are trying to consolidate it using additional government data so that there's a legal trail that trails you and follows you everywhere. There will be no secrets. There will be no privacy. There will be no anything. Everything you do, everything, right down to when you go to the potty, will be trackable and traceable. That is coming. And I'm not exaggerating. Literally, they will be able to track and trace everything you do. So we're there. It's already there. The technology's there. They're just putting it together in a way where it will be happening. So that's coming. We're going to get into all that and a lot more. Before I do, of course, a grifter's got a grift. And, well, we really need your support. So please, if you can, go to givesendgo.com/Renzlaw. Givesendgo.com/Renzlaw. Support us, whatever you can donate. Daily donation, monthly donation, weekly donation, one-time donation, anything you can give us. Your support keeps us going. It's made a world of difference. It's allowed us to do what we do, and we want to keep telling the truth. The political parties won't pay us. The billionaires don't pay us because we just keep doing the truth. The truth isn't for sale. So that's what we're going to do, but your support allows us to do that. Also, go to TomRenz.com, www.tomrenz.com. You go up the top here. You click on shop, partners and affiliates, and you come here and you see all these guys that you get a great deal on. If you use our links and you use checkout codes, usually it's checkout code Renz, but use checkout code Renz, you get a discount on everything, and it's everything you could ever want. We've got our good friends at Global Healing with men's hormone support, which I always have and I always talk about. Love that stuff. We've got all sorts of good people, Hale and Associates, Safe Blood, Paleo Valley, all these good people. And you can see that we've worked hard to bring in a lot of great partners. Like I said, we get discounts on all of them. And I trust all of these people. I wouldn't sell it if I didn't believe in it. And one of the places that we want to stop here today is RNC Store. RNCstore.com/Renz. RNCstore.com/Renz. Use checkout code Renz for a discount. And make sure you're getting this. If you're concerned about cancer, if you're concerned about keeping your body healthy and strong, you got to give it the nutrients to keep it strong. B17, apricot seed, and I love their pro enzymes. The enzymes are a spectacular product. I love those. Make sure you're checking out rncstore.com/Renz and use Renz for a discount. Just a wonderful group of products. And speaking of RNC Store, and without further ado, let's bring on the man, the legend himself, my good friend, John Richardson. How you doing, John?
Tom, I'm fantastic. I'm so excited to see you. It's time for us to catch up. I know we were both in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we got to high five each other. We got to talk about each other. Everybody, can you introduce me to Tom Renz? It was a great thing. We're buddies. People don't realize that we do all sorts of things behind the scenes as well. But one of the great things to look through your list of sponsors and people you work with, all of those people are great Americans. They're all great people. And that's the kind of people we see back there at when we were back at Tulsa with Clay Clark and General Flynn and all the great people that are involved there. It really did feel like a family reunion. So it's great seeing you there. But this is our time to catch up. So I want to tell a Mitch McConnell story, if you don't mind. Can I tell a story?
Please, by all means.
Well, this is a story I heard years ago from a friend of mine who used to own hospitals, and I'm not going to mention the town that he owned the hospitals in because people watching would automatically probably figure out who it was. But he's a friend of mine, continues to be a doctor. He's retired now. He's sold all his hospitals, but he said early on he was trying to get more emergency rooms built at his hospital, and there was a federal law that said you had a limit to how many there were. So he had his people, reach out to the government to try to find out what they do. And I said, all we need to do is pass a law. So it worked out that they flew in Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. And these are supposed to be people that you think are like enemies. They hate each other. That's what we're told, right, Tom? Have we always told Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi are enemies? Well, they flew them in. They sat a couple $1 million in cash in grocery store bags next to them. They walked in. They told them, here's the amendment we want to make so we can build these extra emergency rooms at our hospital, making them millions of dollars. And both bags were picked up. They went off with they met, shook hands, both bags. And the next day, or the next 48 hours, the law was passed that allowed them to increase the number of emergency rooms at their hospital. So that was going on. And I continue to be friends with this gentleman. I'm not saying his name, but that was going on, 15 years ago, Tom. And you think it's gotten any better now?
No.
But here's what's happening now with Mitch McConnell. I'm telling you, we all say Mitch McConnell did this, Mitch McConnell did that. He's not doing anything.
No.
He has been brain dead for a while. We all know that. It's the people behind him, the deep state that's running Mitch McConnell. They vote for him. They figured it out. They could figure out how to have our president, the previous president to Trump, stamping things with an auto pen. Trust me, they can figure out how to make Mitch McConnell do anything they want to. So these same clandestine meetings, except now the $1 million is not going to Mitch's wife so much anymore. It's being divided amongst the staffers that are keeping us suckers going. Yeah. So that's my true documentable story about Mitch McConnell that I have firsthand from someone that, you would think, was that guy a scoundrel? Is that guy a scoundrel that did that? No, he's doing business. That's how he was told he had to get, that's how he had told just set stacks of cash. And these two people were in the room. So anyway, that's my Mitch McConnell story. And so, it's been going on it's not just something new. Anybody watching, we're only discovering this now. There's such horrible things going on in our government. It's been going on for 50 years, folks. Yeah. We're just finally hearing about it from great people like Tom Renz, who won't lie, won't tell you fibs if he hears this. And so that's what's been going on for 50 years.
Well, it has been, and it's well known. I mean, I wasn't exaggerating in my tweet. Everybody's known for a very long time that McConnell is no different than Joe Biden was. Joe Biden wasn't competent or capable of being president. It wasn't he that was running this country. It was his people. And same sort of thing with Mitch McConnell. But, the dirty secret to it, John, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about this, but, AOC was picked by a talent contest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she they picked her because she's an idiot and she follows instructions.
Yeah. She's actually fairly good looking. Okay. She's on the attractive scale. So that gets all the men to vote for her. And that's exactly, you're absolutely right. That's politics is really their, if they couldn't make it in Hollywood, their second string, they go into politics and, do they make more or less, but they're just equally as the strings are pulled. And until we wake up and push against it, you're absolutely right. Yes, I have heard that from you and from other sources that she was picked.
Yep. No question about it. The whole thing is corrupt as hell. John, how you been? You had to step away for a few minutes. Are you doing okay? What's happening with you?
Yeah, I stepped away in December, basically because I look back. I had done 350 podcasts in the last 12 months. I had been going through several other family issues, and then I had my own health problems. And so it was something that I decided to do. I had to do basically because I was suffering from a blockage in my colon. And I've been on your show before, and anybody that has never heard about me before, I'm the guy that founded Operation World Without Cancer. I know what cancer is. I know why it develops, and I know what it can do to be treated. I know this, Tom, from my soul. And you and I, as we developed our friendship, we talk about this, and you have your opinions, I have mine.
Yeah.
But I did something foolish, and I'm going to tell people, your audience right now, what I did was foolish. Even as smart as I am about health and nutrition, I trusted in a doctor friend of mine, and I still like him as a friend, but I trusted in a doctor friend of mine that said he had a GLP-1 that was natural, that didn't do all the damage that some of the other GLP-1s do. And so I admit, and I'm telling your audience and telling you probably maybe for the first time, that I injected myself with semaglutide 5 times over a 5-week period. And soon after I did that, I started developing stomach pains. And at first, I was naive enough to think, well, maybe it's just something going on with me. Maybe it's stress or whatever. So I continued to just live my life normally. I was still eating apricot seeds and taking our products, but I started to get more and more sick. And so I developed this blockage in my colon. Now, I'm sure you've had shows about GLP-1s. We are both dear friends with Brian Artis, and Brian hears me say this and shakes his head every time. He said, John, I told you it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But as busy as we are, Tom, we make mistakes, and I'm a fallible human being. And so I did that, and I got really sick in April of 2025, and I got rushed to the emergency room, and they told me that if I didn't cut out half my colon, that I would be dead in 10 days. And you heard this story. But that story, what happened was I went to my dad's protocol, and for 40 days and 40 nights, I was taking it. I was doing it all. And then I felt better. You saw me. I felt better.
Yeah, you were on top of things.
I was on top of it. And so what did I do? I went right back to 20 podcasts a week, flying all over the country, just working from.
You push hard, man.
I push hard. And it's not for greed. It's not for anything except I feel like we have a window. I feel like we have a window where people are waking up before, we think it might be bad right now, but if they can get the government turned back around to a bunch of Bidenites again, we're gonna wish for the Trump times. We're gonna wish for the Trump era. So I have been a little bit desperate, but now I've realized, Tom, that I have to stop and take care of my health, because I have 11 children to take care of. I have a mission to.
I got to be honest with you, John. If I had 11 children, I'd have more than a blockage. I'd have a drinking problem. I would. I'd probably be bald. I'd be. I'd have a lot. I don't know how you keep up.
I have. I have a CEO wife who very well, who was friend with you before I met you. Chris Edelkamp was her name. She was the CEO of Amp News, and God bless me meeting her at a Clay Clark event. I asked her to marry me on stage. And we hit it off immediately. Her kids were never vaccinated. My kids were never vaccinated. She's the love of my life. You just saw her before we came on here. So she makes it possible. But she was scared that I was gonna go, because what I didn't say is, when I went back full time again, I got sicker than I was before, because my body, I might think I'm bulletproof. My body hadn't gone through everything. So I have a dear friend who has been using the Richardson method for 26 years. And he's been curing non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I can say that because he gave me permission to say it. He's got 100% track record using the Richardson method, is what I call it. We just call it that because it's a process. But he's been doing it 26 years, having all sorts of success with cancer patients. I don't know if I've introduced you to him yet, but he's an absolute dear friend, Christian MD, who's had to be undercover. And so naturally I went to him. Amongst our dear friend Ed Group was talking to me. Henry Ely was working with me. Henry Ely did a house call at my house.
Henry's amazing. Henry is one of my closest friends. I trust that guy with my life.
Yeah, I would too. And I did. And Henry was ready to step in and be my doctor of record, but he thought, okay, you're being taken care of by Dr. Murphy. And Dr. Murphy did. And so we had a meeting in January of this year, 2026. He said, let's get an MRI, John, see what's going on. And they found that I had that apple core lesion still there, and it had affected my pancreas, and I had pancreatoids or whatever they're called on my, not my pancreas, my, whatever. It's the
Some
thing
of
that
the stuff in there.
Yeah, something in there. And it's horrible. I should be better prepared when I'm talking. But anyway, I had spots on that organ, and he recommended that I get a piece of my colon removed and the appendix. Thank you.
Yeah.
My brain just worked, Tom. Appendix, because it had these spots on it. so he recommended I get the surgery to have those removed. This is my dear friend who's been using my dad's method for 26 years.
Yeah.
And we had our first argument. Every time before that, we were, on the same page, let's do this, let's do that. And I said, I am not going to get surgery until I give my dad's method absolutely the entire, thing across the board, Dr. Murphy. And he was upset with me, but we got back together and he agreed. We came with a plan. I said, I'll go 90 days. I'll stop working. I'll go, I'll drink my meals. I'll, not have any alcohol. I won't eat any animal proteins. I'll take 12 grams of B17 every day. I'll do ozone. I'll do coffee enemas, all the things that you need to do to heal. And 90 days later, I'll do another MRI. And if I look better, if I've improved, then I won't get the surgery. If I haven't, then I'll do the surgery that you suggest. Well, the plot doesn't thicken. I'll just tell you, I won't make you wait till the commercial break. When I got my second MRI at the end of March, the appendices, cytophies, the spots on my appendix that could potentially block the urethra had gone, disappeared completely. The apple core lesion had loosened up. So I was having 3 bowel movements a day. I was feeling energy. I was starting to gain weight back again. All the pockets of my colon that I had, allowed to develop because of this blockage in my colon, all had shrunk and gotten better. So I improved dramatically, and I've continued to improve. Now, Tom, sometime in January, I weighed 142 pounds down.
You've lost some weight.
225. Now I weigh 185. At 185, I just finished my afternoon workout. I'm walking an hour a day. I'm eating everything, the right things. And I've limited my schedule from 10 to 3 for most people. But when Tom Renz calls and said, hey, John, I want you on my show at 7:00, we made a special arrangement because I'm kind of sticking to that now. And so I'm not letting my family down. I'm not letting my business. And to be honest, the business is responding in a great way.
Yeah.
And we're healing more people. And the moral to the story is when I sat back down with Dr. John Murphy, who's given me permission, he's an amazing cancer specialist, MD naturopath. He likes to go by naturopath more than anything. I sat down with him after I did this 90 days, Tom. He had tears in his eyes. He said, John, this is miraculous. And now I've got 3 other colon patients that have chosen to go the Richardson method for 90 days rather than do surgery first and then that afterwards. And they've all had tremendous results. So that's the quick and dirty story, Tom, but I'm sure people listening in go, wait a minute, what about this? And what about that? Well, it's all documented. It's all, I had 15, doctors telling me to remove my colon, and including my naturopathic MD said that he's not seen anybody survive what I have, but I did my dad's method. I'm here 40 pounds heavier, far more energy. I wouldn't say I'm 100%, Tom, but I'm 80%. And guess what? I don't have a colostomy bag and I don't have a lifespan to be 70. That's as old as they thought I could make it when they told me I needed to remove my colon. So, and then the stories are flooding in. Tina with the cellular 123 company.
I think so. I think I know who that is.
She was at the show. She's on Mike Adams' show monthly, and she has the cowboy with the patches that give you pain relief. They were.
Oh yeah. Those are great.
Okay. Well, she 2 years ago ran into me at the show and said she had thyroid cancer and she was about to have surgery to have it removed. And I told Tina at the time, I said, please don't remove it. Do the Richardson method. And people think, oh, that's I charge millions of dollars to get the Richardson method. It's free, folks. The Richardson method. And she did what I said. She didn't have the thyroid surgery in 2 weeks that she had scheduled. She went on it and she's now cancer free. And wonderful. She is telling everybody about it. And she was at the show and she introduced me to her partners. And now she's doing a documentary, Tom. And she's telling her story about B17 and the enzymes and B15 that has healed so many people, but she's brave enough to put it out there. And so these are the kind of gifts that God's giving. And everything I went through, people go, oh, I'm so sorry you went through that. No, I'm ecstatic that I went through it, Tom, because now I know what it's like for the average Joe to get called in with a colon blockage. And he's told, you got to remove half of your colon and you're only going to live to be 70. That's a horrible death sentence. And I just ran into a guy that's 91 today, and Ed Griffin's 95, and you're going to live to be over 100, and my wife is going to live to be over 100, healthy and happy. But we're not going to do it with drugs and surgery and chemo and radiation. We're going to do it with God's answers that are already available that people are now hearing about. So that's what's been going on. That's some of the stuff, and it's so great to be able to report, absolutely that I did it without any kind of intervention, even though my naturopath initially said that he thought I should have the surgery.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing good, John. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I do like, and I will recommend this, and I don't know if you'll agree with me, but one of the things that I like that you did this time, and I would strongly recommend, I've talked to a lot of doctors, scientists, naturopaths, alternative. I've talked to everybody. You know that. I love that you got follow-up diagnostic work. Right. So the one thing that I've heard from a lot of our best friend naturopath people, and they're mutual friends, and I agree with them on this, the most useful thing that mainstream medicine has is the scans, right? I mean, they may not be able to say exactly what it is. They may not always have it right, but knowing what's going on and measuring the difference is a really important thing because, if you're seeing improvement using whatever you're doing, that's great. If you're not, well, then you change it up. So
I would have a caveat to that, and I just don't think colonoscopies or breast.
No, I don't like colonoscopies.
I don't think either of those are modern science. They're wicked. But like
the colonoscopies, the colonoscopies, the mammograms. I mean, I like thermography. I like a bunch of different things. I'm not a huge fan of the mammography, mammograms, and I'm not a huge fan of the colonoscopies. In fact, I think the colonoscopies are just downright dangerous. I don't like those at all.
They are, and a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't even know this, Tom, that they make you sign that they can cut anything that they see that's on your colon, anything
they do
in there, and they do. And why do they do it? Because they stand to earn $250,000 on the surgery they're going to recommend, which is what they recommended for me. They got my insurance to approve $200,000. I had to pay a $50,000 deductible.
Yeah.
And then when I wanted to leave the hospital, they said, well, you're going to lose your insurance because we're going to sign you out against medical advice. And if you leave the hospital against medical advice, your insurance goes away. So, Tom, I learned that they squeeze you from every single avenue. So absolutely agree. The diagnosis is important, but there's blood tests. There's hair analysis.
There's a ton of different ways to do it.
Tons of different ways to do it. And we need to be promoting those things that are non-invasive to tell people, yes, I had a blood test that showed I had these high on these cancer markers in January. Yeah. And then in May or March, April, I had the same blood test and I showed I was a normal again. So what a sense of relief that I used nothing but natural treatments, and a modern day blood test showed, whatever these markers are, what did I have cancer? I don't know, Tom. I don't know if I did or not because no one said, let me take this tissue, send it off to a lab and say if you did. But I tell you and everybody that everybody has cancer. Yeah. So if everybody has cancer, then they can diagnose you with cancer any day. They just have to pick the right thing to test. Right, Tom?
Well, remember, I mean, we heard when, like the second day Trump was in White House, that they were going to test the free floating cancer cells in your body to create a vaccine for you. Well, I mean, if I already got it, I'm not sure it's a vaccine. It sounds more like a treatment. But either way, if you're telling me that it's there already, and that there is truth, cancer is something that your immune system can take care of to an extent. And the question is whether your immune system's winning or losing. So, I mean, it's an interesting thing. John, I'm just glad you're okay, man. And I'm glad to see you back.
I just get excited, Tom. And I do want to shout out to our friend Ed Group. They helped me through this process as well. I was using their Global Healing. I love them. We're partners.
Best stuff on the market.
Absolutely the best company that you can get your nutraceuticals from. They're brothers in arms. They've been fighting this battle. Ed used B17 in his practice with John, who's a dear friend of mine, his brother. They co-founded that company. We're partners, like I said, but they also stepped up and delivered, the liver that they use.
Liver cleanse. Their liver cleanse is remarkable.
Kidney cleanse I use every day. I probably could get up and show you the bottle. I use it every day. So all of these things together. So is B17, am I sitting here saying that's the end product to be all? No, it's part of the cancer killer that kills the cancer cell, and it's scientific, proven, documented. But that's the one that the medical establishment has always hated the most. It's the one that they've had doctors lose their license, go to jail, like my dad. And it's the one that, when added to the normal cancer protocols, always seems to put people over the edge to help them. And so that's why I sing the praise of B17, but in no means is that, can I eat donuts and pizza and drink lots of alcohol and take a couple B17 capsules and think I'm going to be healthy the rest of my life.
No, it's part of a whole lifestyle. There's a whole lot to it, and it's very complicated. And, I would urge anybody watching, make sure that, whatever you're looking at, and I want to just make this disclaimer because, we've dealt with cancer in and around me for a long time. And I'm going to tell you that, and I don't have it, but it's something that I've dug deeply in. If you are dealing with cancer, please understand there is no single one shot fix it type thing. You can't just take one supplement. Anybody that tells you that ivermectin alone will cure cancer, it won't. It may help in some cases. It won't help in all cases. If anybody tells you that a no sugar diet will by itself fix it, it won't necessarily. It is a combination of things. It's very specific to you, and it's a very, very complex disease. So please don't trust anybody who tells you that they have the magic pill for it, because it doesn't exist right now. It may exist, but if it does, we don't know what it is.
That's where we'll disagree. It will never exist because cancer is a metabolic disease. It comes from the fact that your metabolism is not working properly.
Yes.
So that could be as simple as not getting enough vitamin C and you can develop cancer. That can be as simple as not eating enough iodine. You have to have a balanced system.
You got to figure out what your system is missing.
Right. I was drinking Essiac tea. I was doing coffee enemas. I still do them. That now that it's become like a ritual to me. I love it. It makes everything work great. And now I'm healthier, I believe, than I've ever been because I'm doing all these things. I'm still taking these nutrients. And Tom, they're not in our food. So anybody
not anymore.
Just eat the right food. My dear friend Leanna Warner Gray wrote a book, Cancer Free with Food, and she'll tell you food that you get at the grocery store now is 1/25 of what it was just 20 years ago. So you have to get your food organic.
Well, it'd be really curious. It'd be very curious because, cancer rates have risen over the years. And, going back years and years ago, cancer was a very rare thing. And but the food was totally different as we've continued to poison our food supply and spray chemicals and just GMO the food and all these different things. I mean, the quality of food has gone down the toilet. So I think it's a combination of things that you got to do, and you got to figure out what your body needs to deal with your particular issues. And if you do that, then you can do what you need to do with it. But you got to figure that out. Luckily, you have a lot of great friends and a ton of knowledge yourself, and we're able to bring in all the best people and get all the best stuff. And I mean, you've been studying it your whole life, so God bless you for it, John. I'm very, very happy for you. And that's why I support you and support your work and support RNC store and everything else. So I mean, good, and God bless you.
And I just, Tom, I know we're not ending, but I just want people to hear that I shouldn't be the only person that has all these wonderful doctors at my beck and call.
No,
and we are finding ways, and I'm happy to talk about that if we have time, finding ways to train other doctors to do exactly what I was told to do in my situation. And so we've got some amazing doctors, the Gold Care team with Dr. Simone Gold and Dr. Dana Granberg-Mill, who we both know are friends with, and we're Dr. Margaret Aranda, who is one of the frontline doctors, and Dr. Stella Manuel, who now has apricot seeds as part of her cancer prevention kit. We're getting all these great doctors to come together and understand it's just part of a system, part of what we're doing, and there's no silver bullet, and it is literally saving lives and making a difference, and people are able to choose. Believe it or not, people are able to choose to do chemo and radiation alongside these natural solutions as well. And they're seeing tremendous results. A hospital in New York that treated a millionaire friend of a friend of mine. And I don't know if you've ever met David, but he did the normal colon stuff and then did the Richardson method alongside of it and had amazing results. They said 5 times the results they've ever seen.
Yeah.
And now they want me to fly back, Tom, and meet with the hospital administration. And I just haven't had time yet, but that was in the last week. And so we're making strides to where so many people, great people like you that are helping us tell the message. Now we're making inroads that we never could have made, just 3-4 years ago.
100%. Well, that's the best news I've heard all day, John. I'm glad you're doing great. It's good to see you. It's great seeing you at Reawaken and to see you back on your feet and moving good. And I'm just thrilled for you and happy as can be. And we'll keep telling your story and keep getting your information out, your knowledge out. Your dad was a hero and fought hard to share a lot of truths about it. And you're right. I mean, there's no question that one of the things that all cancer cells have in common is they don't handle oxygen. Oxidative stress is a great way to kill cancer cells. And, well, and then also let's not overlook the fact that if you want to test for cancer, they want you to do a PET scan. Well, what's a PET scan? It's radioactive sugar. They inject radioactive sugar in your blood because they can see where the radiation is. And then it goes right to the cancer. Because your cancer absorbs it all right away. So, I mean, if you're going to eat a bunch of sugar, well, you're going to feed a bunch of cancer. This isn't, this isn't brain surgery.
It's not rocket science, but it is exactly what they do. And then for years, doctors will give their patients chemotherapy, send them out to their waiting room and eat boxes of donuts because they want to wait. I'm not kidding you.
No, you're not. You're not.
And people are still telling people, eat whatever you want. Doesn't matter what your diet is when you're going through cancer therapy.
I had a doctor from the Cleveland Clinic say that exact same thing to someone. Yeah, well, your diet doesn't matter. You just need the chemo and the radiation. And, but I will tell you that I am much less friendly to radiation than anybody. I personally, the number of instances where I would ever support radiation is so slim, but it is what it is. So, John, I want to hit a couple things because we're going to hit a couple big stories here before we get going, because you and I could talk for 2-3 hours on this stuff and never get anywhere. But John, have you been watching? So I've done a lot of work while you're gone. One of the areas I've been doing some work is on this digital prison. And I know you don't like that stuff either, but it's kind of building out. And one of them that's really big right now that nobody likes are these damn flock cameras. They're putting them everywhere. And I'm going to show you, I posted this just this morning. Here it is. So this is in Ballville Township, which is right next to where I live in Fremont, Ohio. It's this big flock camera. Now, obviously, this looks like a very high crime area. I mean, you can see they definitely need this to stop all the illicit gang activity. And I point out that this is Fremont, the town I live in, has a whopping 12,000 people, and Ballville, which is the township adjacent to Fremont, has a huge population of 6,000 people. And I actually looked up. And you can see here's Ballville Township. I looked it up, and here's crime, right? So these are the national crime statistics. You see the lines here? That's because there is no crime in Ballville. There's none. There's just, Ballville, they don't even have a police force. The sheriff covers it, but they don't even need one because there's no crime there. There's not even a sidewalk. So they put this flock camera here where there's no sidewalk because it's going to keep us safe. Yeah. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It has nothing to do with it. So I posted that, and then I went on, and then I see a little bit later, I see this, and let me show you this. This is this guy. This guy. I don't know who it is. He's getting 18 years in prison because he destroyed 3 flock cameras and put flags up there. So he's going to jail for 18 years because he doesn't like the government spying on him. But the Epstein class, they're up there raping kids, and we're making excuses. The Epstein class, they can rape kids, and it's fine because they're elite. But they would need flock cameras in Ballville, Ohio, to make sure that there's no crime where there isn't any crime anywhere. This is ridiculous. This is absurd to me. Have you been following any of this?
Oh, absolutely. I've been following. Yeah. Tom, I tell the story, and I don't mean it's all about me, but I was born into the truth movement. So I've seen this stuff coming because G. Edward Griffin was at my house as a kid, and Pat Griffin, his wife, who co-wrote my dad's book, Laetro Case Histories, wrote Creature from Jekyll Island. He's been reporting this was coming my whole life. And so it's almost like I've known it's coming. And so it's not surprising. And it's almost, it shocks me when people are shocked that it's happening. But what is heartening to me, Tom, is that there is groups of people developing all around. Just like you, I travel all over the place. I'm going, people are building communities where they're bringing wealthy people together that know how to do plumbing, electrical, maybe they're great at solar, and they're building these different communities that are going to take us back off grid. So the more we go into AI and flock cameras and digital control, we're going to have more and more areas of the country. They're going to have cities that you're going to be able to live in that don't have any of that crap because they're going to be like-minded people. I'm watching it happen in real time, and I'm meeting with people, and God is bringing them into my life because I'm, like-minded people, just like you and I, we magnetize to each other just for whatever reason. Tom, God had us, you're an attorney from Connecticut and Ohio, and I'm some nutritional guy from Scottsdale, Arizona, but we become good friends and we cross paths all the time. Yeah. And that's what's happening to our side, the people that are knowing the truth. So these flock cameras are ridiculous, but if people don't wake up and start figuring out how to stop it locally, they're just going to be captured in these prisons. And then all you can say to people is, I warned you about what this was coming, and you didn't do anything about it. And that's one of the things we're really learning is that as we're waking up, we have to do it in a local group. We have to continue to go to the meetings or school board meetings or whatever it is locally and do whatever we can to make a difference. You're doing it locally and nationally, but so many people that are watching the show that go, I don't know what to do. You can make the world of difference locally by finding out how that flock camera got put up and getting it removed legally. Yeah. Finding ways to get rid of it. And because it's building prisons that pretty soon we're going to be able to travel 5 miles away from our house.
Show me the man, I'll show you the crime.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll get our grocery credits and we'll get our monthly stipend of a couple $1,000s a month. And if we don't get injected with the newest vaccine or vote the way they want us to, or pray the way they want us to, they'll just start shutting us down. This is coming. And if that's the kind of world you want, then, live in a community, you don't care. You just keep going to the beach and partying and all that kind of stuff. But guys like Tom and I, we enjoy life. We laugh, we have a good time, but we are actively stopping this. And anybody watching, that's what you need to do. And I've known that my whole life. And Ed Griffin, 95 years old, is having the Red Pill Expo in Vegas next weekend. He's not stopping. He's not retired and saying, okay, it's time to give up. He's still fighting at 95.
Well, good. We need that. And John, and we probably only got 10, 15 minutes left. I want to tie a couple things together. And just because, I know that, you're spending so much time in nutrition, and what happened with me was I'm never leaving Maha. That's my home, right? That's what I care about. Yep. But what I found was, remember during COVID, they talked about, your vaccine passports, digital track and trace. They talked about how they wanted surveillance to go under the skin. And what I found was the control of your health and the manipulation of your health and the monitoring of your health was tied very much to this global surveillance state that they're building. And so I looked at this, and I continue to look at it, and I believe it's a core thing that we have to fight, because if we want health freedom, we certainly have to have autonomy, and we need to be able to make our own decisions. And no one needs to know what decisions we're making. That's our business, not anybody else's, right? So I look at this, and I see one of the things that I'm seeing is we've got the SAVE Act, right? The SAVE Act has huge support. Now, the SAVE Act does have one problem, right? I support the SAVE Act, but one of the things with the SAVE Act is they're going to push the Real ID. They want to make sure that you have this universal track and trace ID, which Real ID is nothing but universal track and trace. I've got it pinned to the top of my Twitter profile. You can look at it there. It's indisputable. The law is what it is, right? Yep. So now what they're going to do is they're going to take this SAVE Act, which is popular, and tie it to the NDAA, which is wildly unpopular, because we're going to sell our military and our military secrets to Israel. Yep. Now, I'm not against Israel as a nation, but Benjamin Netanyahu is a crook. He's a nutbag, and in no way, shape, or form do I want that. But it wouldn't even matter if it was Israel, Iran, UK. I don't care. I don't want my military tied with any foreign powers. I want that to be our military to defend our country, not another.
Common sense. I don't even know. I have 100 Jewish friends. I don't know one of them that's in support of that. So,
well, it's horrible.
My dearest friend is Jewish, and my son is about to have a Jewish child. He married a Jewish woman. Anybody that says I'm anti-Semitic, they're lying. But I totally disagree with what Netanyahu's doing. Yeah. He's more evil than Biden was by a factor of 10. Does that make me an anti-Semite? Absolutely not. And I refuse to accept that moniker. But I can tell you what's going on is destroying our country. We're destroying our sovereignty with all of these crazy things that they're doing at the top of our government.
Well, now let me tie this.
I do have good news about all that. But
well, we're hoping that we'll get through this. But let me tie this back, right? Mm-hmm. So why does this all matter, and how does this fit together? How does it? Well, you have to understand the flock cameras are part of the surveillance system. The NDAA and the merger with Israeli intelligence, what that allows Mossad or foreign intelligence to spy on Americans. And then all they have to do is share the information with our CIA, which they can do openly now. So the CIA is not legally allowed to spy on Americans. But a foreign country can. And if we have intel sharings, all the CIA's got to do, hey, go spy on this guy, go spy on that guy, collect this data, collect that data. And it's all right there. So it circumvents our constitutional protections in a profound way and a wildly unconstitutional way, in my opinion. But Absolutely. There's no ruling on it.
Treasonous.
It's very treasonous. Now, when we look at all this and we pull this back together, we have to understand that what's occurring here is they're building out the surveillance system across the board. And it started out with one of the biggest steps forward on this was Obamacare, right? But now we're seeing like the Online Accountability Acts, all these different things. And what they're doing with this is they're making sure that they're tying your name and your digital identity together all over the internet. And they want to do it with private corporations. Why? Well, let me explain why. All of these laws have in them something that says, well, you can share de-identified data, right? And have you ever heard that term, John, de-identified data? I think John's locked up here. John, are you locked up? Yep. All right. Well, we'll bring John right back here. Let me see as soon as he gets moving. John, maybe you can step out and back in real quick. So de-identified data. But de-identified data doesn't mean that it's useless. It still has something in it called quasi-identifiable data. De-identified data still allows for quasi-identifiable data. And quasi-identifiable data includes data that really is very, very important for us to understand, right? Quasi-identifiable data includes things like your birth date and a bunch of different things. And yeah, John, I believe we lost you. We're going to have you go out and back in if you can hear me. The quasi-identifiable data allows these private companies with the use of AI to essentially triangulate and figure out your actual identity. And then once they've used this de-identified data to create your actual identity and they can associate it properly, it creates a single unified file on who you are. That single unified file is really, really an important thing to understand because okay, there. I think John's back. John, I can't see your face, but I can see that you're back in. Let's see. Yep. Need to turn your camera on, and we'll get you back on. But the quasi-identifiable data can be used to triangulate and determine your actual identity. Once that's done, that connects to you. And so then this quasi-identifiable data, this metadata that's all over on the internet, that can include geographic records, phone records, all these sorts of things. They're all tied to you. At that point, everything you do becomes trackable and traceable. Everything. Where you are, what you're doing. And if they can identify you with this data that they're not supposed to use to identify you, once your name is attached to it, it's very precise. So for example, in your house, maybe your internet, your router, your Wi-Fi router, right? Well, your Wi-Fi router may or may not have the technology available to actually map your house, where you're at in your house, what room you're in, how long you're there. I jokingly say they'll be able to tell when you go to the bathroom, but it's only half a joke, because once your house is mapped with these sorts of things, they can tell what room you're in, including the bathroom. And they can tell how long, hey, you're there, you're not there. So they can literally track and trace everything you're doing. This is a phenomenally dangerous thing. The government can track and trace you publicly with these flock cameras all over. They can track and trace you with your phone, with your car. Your car's got stuff there. And John, I see John's back, but we're not able to see your face. Your camera's off for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. As soon as I can see your face, I'll pop you back on the screen here. But we can't see you right now. So this quasi-identifiable data it's de-identified, but only until such time as you've been identified. At that point, then it's no longer quasi. It's actually connected to you. It's something that follows you. And then it's much easier to track and trace you everywhere and across everything. So then your file continues to build, and they continue to save. And there are data brokers who keep this data. Why do you think they need all the data centers, right? They want to keep all this data. They want a whole file on your life. They want everything on you, because with everything on you, you become predictable. People are very predictable, right? Everybody, you get up at the same time every day. You go, you get breakfast at the same time. You get lunch at the same time. Maybe you go pick up your kids. You spend a couple hours here, a couple hours there. You go to the gym. You go wherever you go, whatever you do. People become very predictable, right? And so this de-identified data becomes a critical thing that is a very bad thing to have out there, because you become very predictable. And over time, this could be used for predictive policing and a bunch of other things that are just as bad. Predictive policing is the stuff that Minority Report is made of. It's a terrifying prospect. It allows the government to say, hey, we're concerned about you. 95% of the people that do this and act like this do this sort of thing. So we're going to assume that you're going to commit this crime, even though you haven't. So you get put on a watch list. You get put onto this list. You get put onto that list. It could be used to curtail our freedoms in every way, shape, or form. If they know your medical, everything about your medical and your health and your this and your that, well, they can control, hey, we're going to control what you eat. We're going to control your diet. We're going to control your meds. And they do it under the guise of protecting costs, but it's really about control. There's no limitations to the amount of control that can be justified going this route. And the Constitution, while it's supposed to be protecting us, it's failed, because we've ignored the 9th and 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment's been bastardized, the 9th Amendment's been bastardized, and the government's used workarounds like the Commerce Clause to say, well, the states don't have to do what we say, but if they want our federal funding, they're going to do what we say. And so the states inevitably just follow along. You also have the Supremacy Clause. So when the feds say, hey, we got to do this, generally, unless it's reserved under the 10th or 9th Amendment, which the 9th Amendment's been bastardized, there is no protection, right? So they've worked around the Constitution to the point where the protections that our founding fathers were fighting for have been essentially invalidated. You can look to the 4th Amendment for that. A right to privacy, right? You're supposed to have a right to privacy. The government shouldn't be going through your personal effects, your papers, your this, your that, without some sort of justification, without a warrant. But they are. And worse yet, they're partnering with private entities, public-private partnerships. They're using public-private partnerships to facilitate the data gathering and the track and trace and all the information that they couldn't do without a warrant. A lot of the stuff I'm talking about is not something you could do without a warrant, but the government doesn't have to, because it's been privately done. When the private entity does it, the government says, hey, we're just buying privately available data. We just need it. And by the way, anybody that hasn't been gone through and their identity is still unknown to the government, well, guess what? That information, that can be gone. It can be gone very quickly. And the reason it can be gone is that essentially the government can say, hey, we've got these tax records, we've got these medical records, Medicare, Medicaid, we've got these electronic medical records, we've got all these different things that we're looking at. And so we can triangulate even better using our Palantir AI system. And if private partners can't identify it, well, the government can. And the combination of the government data plus the private data essentially means that you will have nothing even close to privacy. And the government will just go back and forth with these private entities to pretend like it's on them, just like they did with censorship during COVID. They practiced this. They worked on the law during COVID. COVID was a setup. It was the first part of the Great Reset. And what was established under the law during COVID was that private partners like Facebook, if they choose to censor you, well, they can choose to censor you because it's their platform. But they weren't doing so of their own accord. They were doing it because the government promised favors, less investigations, all sorts of things if Facebook just played along. This was very, very clear if you look at the aftermath of COVID and you listen to some of the testimony. Zuckerberg was talking about some of the things out there. It's very clear how this is working and what's happening. And essentially, when the government knows everything, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. That's where we're going with this. Now, I'm going to get in the next few days and then coming up on the show, we're going to get back into some of these other things, and we're going to talk to you guys more about how these public-private partnerships are going to work. We're going to talk about the law around it. We're going to talk about how this de-identified data can be used. I've actually broken it all down, how it can be used to track and trace and figure out all of your information. We're going to get into all that in the coming days. A lot of stuff coming up on the show. I've really dug deep in this. And it's time to start going on the warpath here because we need to start sharing what's happening and finding a way to stop it. The government is all about making us sick, keeping us accountable to big pharma, to big ag, to big chemical, to big this, to big that. They want control of everything, and they're getting it. It's working. We are going the wrong direction, folks. All right. Thank you to my friend John Richardson. We had some sort of a technical glitch there. That's okay. We'll get him. He'll be back soon. We love John. He's always welcome on the show. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're hitting like and share. Make sure you're getting the word out on this. We need people to be aware of what's happening. The flock cameras, the NDAA, all this stuff comes together. It's a profoundly dangerous situation that we're facing. We need your help sharing. Like the Tom Renz Show, follow the Tom Renz Show on Rumble, on X, wherever you're watching us, and make sure you're following us on X, on Instagram. We even have Instagram and Facebook now, folks. We're going big here, so check us out there too. Thank you guys for watching. God bless. We will be back very soon.